And this is going to hurt us, not just because we're affected, we're so dependent on selling stuff to China and buying cheap from China, so many of our supplies, all that kind of stuff. There's also, you're right, and I think you're right here, there's an increased chance of war because the Chinese dictatorship has always said, oh, look, we're a dictatorship, sure, but look what we're doing to your lifestyle. Look what we're doing to the economy. Now it can't say that. Therefore, how does it feed into the calculations about war?
Well, that's right, Andrew. So China, the Communist Party rules by coercion and surveillance and brute force, but it does make two claims to legitimacy. First, we're increasing your living standards, and second, we are the authentic expression of Chinese nationalism. It's an irony of history, Andrew, which you'd be very well alive to, that all the communist regimes that have ever existed, although communism is notionally an internationalist ideology, they have all become ultra-nationalist. So if the rising living standards justification disappears, they will accentuate, very likely, the nationalism justification. And the key face of that will be aggression towards Taiwan. The other thing is, the Chinese people now are not having babies. Their birth rate is just above 1. Their fertility rate is one of the lowest fertility rates in the world. The Chinese people have no confidence in their future to have children, and it's too expensive to have children. The population is now declining in absolute terms, and the growth is probably, in an absolute sense, substantially below that of the United States. So the Chinese leadership may well decide that time is not on their side when it comes to invading Taiwan. They might say, well, Europe and America are all tied up in Ukraine. We've got a weak president, Joe Biden, and maybe the time to strike is right now. I'm not predicting that that's what they will do, but I'm saying the chances of that increase with their stagnation.
I think that's absolutely right. People got to know what that birth rate means. For every 2 adults, 2 parents, they'll be replaced by only 1 child. That is just such a dramatic depopulation strategy. Greg, 3 American Marines have been killed and 8 are in hospital after an aircraft crash on the Tiwi Islands. That's just north of Darwin during a military exercise with our troops. What do you see as the significance of this tragedy?
Well, it is a terrible tragedy, and it reminds us again that all military people take risks which the rest of us don't have to take routinely. They were doing a military exercise, but it wasn't a particularly dangerous or demanding manoeuvre. The Osprey, like our Taipans, does seem to have a troubling safety record. Now, this is a helicopter the American Marines operate. The American Marines are very courageous, and the Osprey, because of its peculiar design with both fixed wings and rotary blades, is very useful in gaining access to difficult spots. But there have been a number of fatal crashes. Not a huge number, but a very disturbing number, I think. And I'm sure the Americans will reevaluate the Osprey, just as we've decided to get rid of the Taipan. I think they'll have to reevaluate the Osprey. But, our hearts go out to them. These are Americans in Australia, really, for our security. And, in all of our history, there's only one nation that has sacrificed tens of thousands dead to keep us free, and that's the United States of America.
We'll tell that to the Labor Party National Conference, Greg. Greg Sheridan, thank you so much indeed for your time.